another one. Today, I have a preview show. I'm gonna take a look ahead at some of the upcoming cards and pick out my favorite fights that I'm looking forward to seeing the most. Now, next week, we got Curtis Blaydes and Tom Aspinall. That one is interesting because of the styles that they have. Curtis, wrestler, good cardio, but he's been starting to open up with the hands more. Tom, great hands, underrated jiu-jitsu, so that'll be interesting. Now we got Jack Hermanson fighting Chris Curtis. Chris just took this fight on short notice. This is fight number 3 out of 4 that he's taking on short notice. So, hey, he's serious. He want to make his money. He want to climb up the rankings. It's always good when you see somebody who has that fire and they want to make it to the top. If he can get past Jack Hermanson, that would show that Chris is serious about making it to the top and going on a title run. I'm excited to see that. Now, we do have Paddy Pimblett and Jordan Levitt. I'm not necessarily excited to see them fight per se, but there's a lot of hype on Paddy, and I don't know if it's just because y'all like him personally or if as a fighter you see something that I don't. But I will tell you this, don't sleep on Jordan. Don't sleep on Jordan because he might shock a lot of people. Now we got Alexander Gustafsson back in action. It'll be interesting to see where his head is, where his mind is, and if he's got that fire, because there was a point in time where when Alex was fighting, you couldn't miss it, and he was putting it on a lot of people. We'll see where he's at with it now. Who else? We got Paul Craig. I love watching Paul Craig fight. He's one of the most underrated fighters in the whole UFC, and it's been that way for quite a minute. He's got some of the most dangerous jiu-jitsu that you will see in the octagon. Now he's fighting Volkan, who did fight for the title at one point in time, but DC kind of ran over him. It's hard to sleep on Volkan though, because he has shown that he can be very dangerous, and when he's on, he can be a threat to a lot of the top fighters in the division. So we'll see what can happen with that one. Now we got the rematch, Julianna and Amanda Nunes. Julianna was saying for years that she was the woman who could beat Amanda, and people laughed it off. And it's kind of hard to be mad at them for laughing it off, because Amanda has been so dominant against literally the very best in the world. She's knocked them all out, every last one, or she dominated them by decision. So it's hard to pick against somebody like that. But Julianna took everything Amanda had in the first round. In between rounds, Julianna turned into something different, and the rest is history. Because they're coaching the Ultimate Fighter right now, so they can get back in there on July 30th. Now we got Brandon Moreno trying to work his way back up into a title fight against Davison. Now this particular fight against Kai Kara France is for the interim belt. Whoever wins, they're definitely getting the title fight. We can't sleep on Kai Kara France because City Kickboxing, they're making champions over there. Brandon has held the gold before, but don't look past Kai Kara France here. Derek Lewis getting back into action. I was in Houston at 271, and the whole soul of the entire arena just left. So he's looking to get back into the win column. They gave him a tough guy. Sergey's only loss is to Alistair Overeem. This ain't no pushover. Derek gonna really have to be on his A game to go in there and get that W. Who else? Okay, look like that's all it is for this card for me personally. Now, this fight right here, I'm looking forward to it. You got Thiago Santos and Jamahal Hill. Thiago has had a rough couple of years. At one point, he was very dangerous. He fought John Jones for the belt. It didn't go his way. He was injured in that fight. He didn't fight for a long time. He's kind of been on a roller coaster ever since. Now, Jamahal Hill, he ran into Paul Craig, but I saw the look in his eyes at that time. He was like, okay, I know what I need to do now. And he has been on fire ever since then, putting people to sleep. Jamahal Hill is very underrated. He is a dark horse in the division. Don't be surprised if 1 or 2 more fights from here, he's in the top 5, and we're talking about title contention. So don't sleep on that one. I'm not going to miss a single second of that fight with Jamahal Hill and Thiago Santos, but I might not watch this one at all. Vicente Luque and Jeff Neal. Reason being, these are 2 of my favorite fighters. Vicente is coming off of a loss that nobody saw coming. He beat Bilal the first time they fought by knockout. And then, a few months ago, he lost to Bilal by decision. Now, Bilal is a completely different fighter at this point, but still, Vicente was supposed to win that one. Now, he's fighting Jeff Neal. Jeff has shown a lot of promise. He ran into some injuries and some health problems, got back into the octagon maybe a little too soon against Wonder Boy, and then he had a tough fight with Neil Magny, but he is on track now. And of course, they give the two people I want to see make it to the top each other. And now I got to watch one of my guys lose. I might go take a walk for that one and come back and ask y'all who won. I'm going to be scared to look at what happened. We got Bryan Battle from the Ultimate Fighter. It's interesting. He's not really a knockout guy. He's not really what you might even consider the most exciting. But something about him is just compelling. He doesn't give up. He has a lot of heart. He has good cardio. And he wants to win, even if the person he's fighting is better in all areas or any particular area. Bryan will outwork them and get that W. And it's good to see that. I like to see that fire. Speaking of fire, Terrence McKinney about to set this thing ablaze. He should be higher up on this card. His last fight, he took on short notice against Drew Dober. Before that, he had 2 first-round finishes. The Drew Dober fight, that was a short notice fight. So the cardio kind of went out the window there. But he still looked good in the loss. And he showed a lot of promise. If he can clean things up, which I believe he has been, I've been following him on Twitter, and he's been posting snippets of his training, showing that he's starting to get control of that gas tank. And if he can really control his cardio and compose himself, he can really put it on people. You talk about electric stand-up, great wrestling, submissions. He's going to go far. Mark my words. We got Marlon Vera and Dominick Cruz. Marlon has been on one lately. People have been counting him out in fights, and he's been winning them. Then you got Dominick Cruz, who has gone through a whole lot of adversity with injuries and health. But hey, he's still in the game. Look, he's been fighting since the WEC days, and he's still a contender. But the bantamweight division is crazy now. He does have to fight to work his way back into being one of those top 5, top 3 title challenger guys. But the division is so stacked right now that even Dominick Cruz has to prove himself as a title contender. That's how crazy the division is, that somebody as accomplished as Dominick has to work so hard to get back to the title. I believe he will do it though. I'm not sleeping on Marlon Vera by any stretch of the imagination, but I have been following Dominick Cruz for a very long time, so I'm gonna always root for him. We got Bruno Silva back in action. He fought Alex Pereira in a really tough and close fight, and Alex is about to be fighting for the belt. So if Bruno can get a W here, and his only loss in recent history was to somebody fighting for the title, that could mean big things for him in the future. Now we got UFC 278, the rematch, Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards too. I didn't think Leon was ever gonna get this fight. It seemed like whenever they scheduled it, something happened. And it was crazy stuff. You had COVID, injury, you had visa problems. You had Kamaru was getting injured. It's a whole bunch of craziness, but it's finally here. I don't necessarily know if this fight will play out any differently than the first fight, but the fact remains Leon has earned his rematch, so we'll get to see that. Jose Aldo and Merab. This is going to be a good one. Jose has worked his way back into a contendership. People gave up on him after the Max Holloway losses and a few other fights that didn't go his way. And after all these years, this man has ended up back in contendership. Now we got Paulo Costa and Luke Rockhold. This is a tough fight for Luke to take on his comeback fight because Paulo has a lot of power. But at the same time, Paulo has been on some wild stuff. Like on Twitter, this dude just talked crazy the whole time. He is one of the most naturally funny people that you're going to see or hear from on Twitter. His last 2 fights, he has not looked the best. Now, he did miss weight in the last one against Marvin, but I thought he won that even with that being the case. They gave it to Marvin. Now he has to fight Luke. Luke is somebody who has always been talented. Maybe he's been distracted. I'm glad to see him back in the octagon. The division definitely will be able to use him if he can show up, focus, and fight the way we've seen him fight in the past. We got Cyril Gane and Tuivasa at UFC Fight Night 209. This is going to be a good one because nobody expected Tuivasa to be here, and Cyril Gane is coming off of his only professional loss against Francis. Stylistically, Cyril likes to dance around and control the range, control the distance, use his speed, his footwork. Tuivasa is just somebody, you cannot count this guy out. It does not matter who he's fighting or how good they are or what they've done, you cannot just say that Tuivasa is going to get beat. He will walk out of the arena with that W. I saw that live in action at UFC 271, and he took the soul out of the Toyota Center in Houston. Now we got Robert Whittaker and Marvin Vettori. This is not a prediction show, so I'm not going to say who I think is going to win, even though I have done that a few fights ago. But this is going to be a good fight. Robert's got that good takedown defense and that powerful striking. Marvin Vettori, he's a powerful guy, very durable. He's going to close that distance and use clinch work and dirty boxing and put pressure on Robert. I don't necessarily think he'll be able to do that. Okay, then we got my girl Jessica Andrade back in action. Look, if you don't have a certain name, I'm just not picking you against Jessica Andrade. Jessica, for the longest time, has been putting people away in the flyweight division and various women's divisions. She has been putting people to sleep with hands, chokes, and everything. We always tune in to watch her fight. Now we got Imavov and Joaquin Buckley. This is going to be a good one. Joaquin has worked his way into fighting some more notable and higher ranked opponents. If he can get past Imavov, he might could do some things, and it'll be good to show that, hey, I'm a real fighter. I'm not just a gimmicky knockout guy. I'm a fighter. I'm here to rise to the top, get through the rankings, and fight for the belt. He's made it pretty far, so that's good. Now let's see who else we got. Okay, look like that's gonna be it for me for this card at the moment. They have to put some more fights on here for sure. It's a little dry. We got UFC 279. Look like this fight card is a little bit dry also, but they do have Almeida here. This guy was on the Contender. He's a beast. You talk about a strong guy with crazy jiu-jitsu. Hey, don't sleep on him. Now we got Corey Sandhagen and Yadong Song. Corey's got some work to do because he lost 2 close fights. The Peter Yan fight was, he won the first 2 rounds and then lost 3 rounds in a row. I just couldn't believe what I was watching live. Corey, when he was fighting Peter in those first 2 rounds, he looked unbeatable. He looked like he was on another level of anything I've ever seen. And then he turned around and lost the next 3 rounds. I don't know, maybe if he got tired, maybe Peter really did give up 2 rounds just to make reads so that he could take the last 3 rounds, which that's so risky. The fight with TJ was weird too. Corey looked amazing, and then for whatever reason took his foot off the pedal. It made the fight close enough to where TJ can make the argument that he won. And then TJ won by split decision. I don't know what's going on, but I'm sure that they've got it all figured out now, and Yadong Song better be careful because I'm sure Corey has a point to prove in this fight. At the same time, Song has some power, and he can put your lights out, so don't sleep on him. Now we got Giga Chikadze and Sadiq Youssef. Sadiq has been fairly solid in the UFC, not necessarily great in any particular area, but he is good. He does have good power. It's just, if anything, I would say the mental aspect of it. If he can focus in a little bit more, believe in himself, then he can really rise to the top, I feel. Now he has a tough match ahead of him, Giga, who's coming off that loss to Calvin Kattar. Giga definitely wants to get back in the octagon and show people that, hey, I'm going to be a contender. I'm going to be fighting for the belt. The next fight, I couldn't even believe they made this. You got Chidi Njokuani and RoboCop Rodriguez. I love RoboCop. He is one of my newest favorite fighters. But Njokuani has been going crazy lately. 2 fights into the UFC in this new stint that he's in, and he is cleaning people up. He is so impressive. And I'm not missing a second of this fight. For as long as it lasts, I'm not missing nothing. Okay, we got Trevin Giles back in action. Kind of dropped the ball a few times, but he's getting another opportunity because he was winning those fights until certain things happen. It looks like they gave him a winnable fight. Kosi lost to Philip Rowe, so Trevin should be able to put him away if he lost on the feet to Rowe. Okay, that's it for this one. You will never want to miss a Randy Costa fight. It looks like he's fighting somebody 9-6. They gave him a winnable fight so they can keep him around. Okay, we got my wife, Angela Hill, here. Look. Oh, she's fighting Lupita. Look, they do my girl Angela so wrong. Like, she got so many split decision losses where it's like, how in the world do you score that for the other person? I need my wife to go in here and get this W, finish this fight. Don't even let it go to the judges. She does have a tough opponent, but I still believe in her. So, Angela Hill. Okay, Bilal Muhammad and Sean Brady. Ooh, this is going to be a crazy one. Bilal and Sean fight similar now. Bilal had to turn into Sean Brady to start winning. We'll see what the rest of the card looks like. Both of these guys are going to be breaking into the top 5 here. Like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think below.